Lojong Sang-ngag Not mobile number. Losing something time to give you usually coming number. Take it? Anyone having to bring their Lojong prayer? Bodhicitta prayer?
Durjinang Robin Rodenze, Kuja Chudi Jabola, Chata, Chibishila Punjit, the music publisher, some system, Masenda, Millenbala, Killens and opinions. So we now in the Talamgo, Kanakan, the Batajimba, and the Majavin Yoga, Chicken Javis, Poshawala, and the Chicago Shawa. Some Banjo Domara Roman, and Jimmy Chuja, Bola, Puja, the Chicken, the Barono, and the Shell, the Romocada, the Patin, the Mala, Puja, some joking on Bamala, the Chukumbalong Jamba, Yamina, Bama, the 2 year main paper, Shingi, Shirp Chimber, young big more than the Hinga Chimber. Korwa Tangdo Lang Tabla TV. Kondi Yameto to me, let me shall la Kucha, keep on woman, keep on me, Chino Lamna. Rangoji, Dada Dandison, Dadon, Dande, Lojong Sinkian, Shantu, Sinchon Jong, but a Shinki. Nichon, Sinki Jabati, Sasabi, Ingeshim, Shirptim.
Should have been young and only take Indicana. So one prayer Rinpoche just recited connected to our Lojong practice, now all recited in English. Through your great wisdom, you have realized nirvana. Through your great compassion, you willingly embrace samsara. Through your skill and methods, you have realized that they are no different. Peerless teacher, at your feet I bow. I claim to be arousing bodhicitta, but still it has not arisen in me. I have trained in the path of the 6 perfections, but have remained selfish. Bless me and small-minded beings like me, that we may train in sublime bodhicitta.
네, 다 통해서 봐. 이는 갔다 말아서요. 등을 못 찍나? 아니 가서 채소. 그래야 라리아 문트 아니 뭐야 단 예, 그래서 나와. 산다오?
님,
아,
님,
나와 돼.
님,
아,
생,
그래. 이렇게 너무 이발 살고. 네,
숨바.
아, 숨바를. 아니요, 무슨 사가다 온다. 공소스. 그냥. 아니야, 그때 보면은 아니 이래서 나다 트레이닝 하는 거는 양질 아니 다 what's means 아니 참말 정말 그거 맞아 보라 아니 저기 밸런스 참고
So we see some new faces here, as well as some old faces. Individuals have been here before many times, and also our internet recipients, individuals listening, watching on from the magic of the interwebs. So we began these teachings some time ago, and we had a continuous stream of these teachings, and now we've had quite the long gap between these teachings, but here we are again beginning our continuity of the teachings that began last year. So it's the third month of the Tibetan calendar this month, so we're beginning these teachings anew today. And my Rinpoche offers his auspicious wishes to all of us and welcomes us.
네, 다 다른 거는 저기요. 아니, 로중. 네, 다 나저 샤자스니다 자와. 우상을 미션을 제시야. 네. 전문가 쪽으로 좀 승지. 다 마, 라겐다. 저체. 아니, 냠스나야 돼. 로중 샤자래. 다 뒤는 트렌드 카트 버렸어요. That's all what I'm thinking to be honest.
So the topic of our teaching today is from within this cycle of practice called the 100-day practice of Lojong, the 100-day practice of mind training, Lojong in Tibetan. So the basis for these teachings is the text, Words of My Perfect Teacher, Kunsang Lama Shelung. And then in connection to that text, there is the composition by Khenpo Ngagchung, which is called The Guide to the Words of My Perfect Teacher, which is an meditation instruction manual on how to make these teachings a living practice, how to meditate on these teachings. So based on those texts, then we have this practice, this cycle of practice called the 100-day training of Lojong mind training practice, which we are continuing teaching from today. So the topic from within that cycle of practice we'll be discussing today relates to bodhicitta, or the precious mind of enlightenment. So really this is the main practice, the main central practice of this whole cycle of practice that we've arrived at, which is the training in bodhicitta. So with bodhicitta, you begin with the trainings and the precepts of what we call aspiration bodhicitta. which are the trainings in cultivating and meditating on the four immeasurables. So we've gone over the teaching on that, the instruction on that, and we've also meditated and cultivated those already. So today we are primarily within the context of application bodhicitta, which consists of the training in the 6 paramitas. The 6 paramitas of generosity, ethics, patience, diligence, meditative concentration, and transcendent wisdom. So our primary focus today is this training, is making spiritual practice out of the 6 paramitas.
Da lapa sutam lapa ini lapa ini kan ngarang je ingin tinggi lapa ini da lapa hidup je lapa sen di somno tu duje nyamne muskil kos di somno tu duje.
So the 6 paramitas are called the 6 perfections. When we're actually practicing them, not just studying, but meditating on them and taking them into our own personal experience, then these 6 perfections, the 6 paramitas, are subsumed down into what we call the 3 trainings. So these 3 trainings consist of the trainings in ethics, or sometimes called discipline, the trainings in meditative concentration, and the training in transcendent wisdom. So when we're really engaging with the 6 perfections, we engage them in those 3 phases. So the way we break down the 6 perfections into the 3 trainings, so the first 3 perfections of generosity, ethics, and patience are the trainings in ethics. So the first of those 3 sets of trainings. For ethics, we can understand kind of the whole realm of the ethics to be engaged in as fitting within the 2 categories of abandoning harming others and training to accomplish the well-being of others. So those are the ethics, that's the behavior, the conduct to be engaged in. And then patience, what we call the training in patience. So on top of simply not harming others, patience is training in bearing the harm brought upon you by others, and also willingly taking up difficulties and harm.
강하다르다 대담지 좀 빵은 미나들은 되되고요. 성감 탑교비 기초. 내서가 대담지 수정을 나왔대.
And then training in the practice of generosity. Practicing generosity. Generosity means to give of things, give of material things and so forth to others. To give for the sake of serving others, benefiting others. To simply be generous, to offer to others. And also generosity is engaging in the opposite of its antithesis, which is stealing, taking from others. Either taking directly from their face or by thievery when they aren't looking, stealing from them. So engaging in the opposite of negative conduct. And really all of this realm of engaging in proper ethics or proper conduct is simply training in that which is to be adopted and that which is to, abandoning that which is to be abandoned. Meaning engaging in virtue and relinquishing non-virtuous actions. So all of this fits within the realm of what we call skillful method, the conduct to be engaged in, that is skillful method or skillful means. So in brief, the trainings in ethics, this first group of trainings, all comes down to training in the ethics or the conduct that abandons harming others and accomplishes the well-being of others. That's really the key point here of how to properly conduct ourselves, to not harm others and to work to bring benefit to them.
So interesting in there. Some good troll and probably someday she have Sutram Sunja Karina. Yam not only the Gova. It's only the Tanchi for whatever. No quota, Chitra, Madame. Sutram Son to the Bodo. When is something from it to the Bodo? In that Karazo Pedal. That shit. That man also. 나왔다 가르쳐보고 다르게 투성 없어 가르치체 공연해요 저는 보고도 근데 저는 때 감기
We have the perfection of diligence, or diligent effort. So diligence is the catalyst to all the other trainings. The catalyst, or we can say the friend to all the other trainings. So diligence is a friend to our ethics, our ethical conduct. It's a friend to meditative concentration and a friend to transcendent wisdom. It's needed for to train in everything, to progress at every level. We need to have diligence. You need diligence in order to properly guard your ethics and your conduct. You need diligence to train and progress in samadhi, meditative concentration, and likewise need diligence to realize and gain understanding, develop one's understanding of wisdom. So whatever phase of training in the path we're in, being the phase of listening to teachings, receiving teachings, contemplating on them, or meditating on them, all of those likewise require diligence. Diligence is really the companion, the good friend of all of our efforts on the path.
Someday we check around to Hawaii go Yonaya. So you never lap up over young bears. Not must be legends. Any shit of Yonaya. So you men pet all mice. Yes, so legends. Any shit up change a lot on chant jokes. So you get the road tower last. So you Jonah should have changed the lap up over the lap camera.
네.
렌저야 문제 가야겠어.
done something.
전주제지 로봇 타올라스. 나 전주에는 포도 렌저위나 포칼에 칼에 속 잡고 또 로로. 전주 메나. 오늘 그야 나쁘다고 다행히 공부 잘하고요.
There's a saying regarding the necessity of having diligence, where even if you're like well-learned, you're smart, intelligent, learned, if you lack diligence, it's like showing up empty-handed. You're not really that useful. So this famous Tibetan saying, something like the really learned, smart person lacking diligence is like someone showing up empty-handed. But the person like lacking everything else but having diligence can destroy a whole mountain. Meaning something, implying that with diligence, even a great task can be accomplished. The individual that is diligent can be standing at the foot of a massive mountain and slowly, tear it down until it's completely gone. Dzongsa Shedra. Chenrup Singh.
Kona ripa dukyures. Yenda to be some more for a little of this. Kona be turned chimway, sir. For that, it's a normal to walk into the normals. Walk into the mammy combo, also fit to what the job will chew at it. Then what I love also to put some jam. In a bird and it's not bird is control. Welcome to the funny day. In that place, I do it. That's somebody. Then I'm putting my student. If I take any out of the Lord, it's something Nico. You need to go put it. I am something that Dava, something Dava. Dava is a constant in the road. Read the road. In the place, I call you. Those are the same. Never say. Dava, I didn't call up. I want to practice it from your human levels. Nival or so. That could take zones and put someone in the age of mother. And then no, don't do jail. You're not so woman, zones and yoke pets and jets. Humans. Cherubs again. Lord, really, of course, someone could get you on the then Lord, the Kaleka that I want to work. In the Kaleka, the Kaleka is touchy. No, because of Mamma, because of get a so do your mother. Because of yes. Court sentiment. Then the Lord put them Taco, and we are talking Tama, then it's also gift. That was the Khenpo Ngagchung Hotel. I've been a tenderness.
There's a story about the power of a diligent effort to bear great results. So long ago in Kham, eastern Tibet, at Dzongsar Shedra, the monastic university of the great monastic complex called Dzongsar, this very famous Buddhist institution. There were and are a number of great tulkus and really brilliant students and practitioners there, and great masters there. And of these, the students there that were particularly when they were studying in the Shedra, the monastic university, they would memorize their texts And they'd memorize page after page, countless pages of text every year as they progressed through the coursework of the Shedra. And some of them were really incredible, memorizing page after page in a single day. They just stick in their mind. There was one student there, Chenrap Sengye. And he, well, when he started out, he was kind of the dullest of intellect of all the other students. And he had to try extremely hard just to memorize like a single line. It was very difficult for him. He was the absolute lowest of his class, particularly when he was starting out. But he did have this quality of diligence. And back then in eastern Tibet, there wasn't electricity. You couldn't just flip the light switch on. So at night, you had to come up with different schemes, different ways that you could read your text to memorize them, your philosophical texts. So incense was pretty cheap and readily available. So this practitioner, Chenrap Sengye, would get a little stick of incense in the evenings, and he'd hold it up to a line of his pecha, his text like this, and he'd be blowing on it to get, you know, the ember going bright enough so he could see the letters, and he'd read a line, and then he'd look up and try to remember it, and he'd go down, read the line again like that, and do this hour after hour, and sometimes he'd be sitting there with his stick, and he'd start nodding off, and he'd fall asleep. And the incense stick would hit his piece of paper and burn holes in his paper. And so that was his method, and particularly when there was no moon. But then when he had a full moon, he would like to go outside, and he would sit on the mountainside and read by the moonlight. But as the moon was progressing through the night sky, he would progressively have to climb higher and higher on the mountain to keep his moonlight. So he would end up regularly, when there was a full moon, he'd be climbing whole mountainsides so that he could read his text, trying very hard to do that. So his first year, like we said, he was the absolute worst, but because he had this quality of diligence, even though he wasn't that bright intellectually, because of his diligence, he progressed. And because he was memorizing with such diligence, he never forgot anything that he memorized. Where these other really bright students, they read their thing, they'd memorize it, they'd take their tests, get their A+ perfect, and then it's gone out of their mind. So whatever the other students, when they get to year 6, 7, 8, 9 of their monastic university studies, they'd forgotten every single word. They didn't even know the name of the text from year 1, where Chenrap Sengye still had every single word memorized that he had studied throughout his entire curriculum. He never forgot anything. So by his 6th, 7th year, he was number 1 in his class. And then by the end of his studies and his time at Dzongsar, he became a really revered and great Khenpo, a monastic abbot. Point being that whatever we're doing, however we're engaging with the spiritual teachings of the Dharma, listening, receiving teachings, contemplating on them, or meditating on them, it's extremely important that we have this aspect of diligence. Sometimes it's translated as zeal, diligence or zeal for the action we're engaging in. It's truly the friend, or maybe we could say the boyfriend or girlfriend to all good things on the path. So the main topic for our teaching today is the training in meditative concentration, or what we call samadhi. Samadhi, meditative concentration, or meditative equipoise. Meditation, that's what our main topic is.
다 something singing 아니 뭐라고 가르쳤으나 다 선명발
So samadhi, meditative concentration. What is the essence of it? It's really the essential thing about meditative concentration. It is to have a mind free of distraction.
양 되는 말하는 저거 something singing 다 말하는 저거는 아니 야 아니 참 뭔가 다들 탐직 뭐이라고 그래.
Also, meditative concentration is the very foundation of phases of listening to, receiving teachings, contemplating on teachings, and meditation.
다들 마치 그냥 말하는 저거야 다 베네피스 말하는 저 생이 특반이 희망하지. 다 노지 특별 남아야 조고나 다 제랑 조런 좋게 망고요. 이나야 내 탐색이 싸워져보대요. tempo 가르치는 그것도 띵인 선생님이 잘.
So meditative concentration, the ability to concentrate the mind without it wandering off, is fundamental, of course, to the what we call the vehicle of characteristics, the sutra vehicle. But it's also really the root of progressing along the trainings of the Vajrayana vehicle. So in the Vajrayana, we have many different methods and practices: creation stage practices, completion stage practices, great perfection, Dzogchen practices. Really, all of those, the very root of accomplishing them is having meditative concentration.
그냥 내가 좀 냠내 받아서 그냥 이제가 답이야. 그래서 힘이라고 그러죠. 아니 기당 근데 something라 힘이다. 싫어라 아통습니다. 근데 성상 그래도 그냥 희화라는 간데 송이었으나 힘이 앞에는 기술이 야고 야가 근데 아통되게 근데 그냥 그잖아 탐지 아니 좋은지 근데 다 맞아 봐서 야 아니 잘하고 되기나 근데 앞에는 기술 휴고 이한데 맞지 근데 가와는 거는 로통 포통 휴고 찍어도 면에요 로통이야 휴고 야고요네요 찍기고야 로통만 그래서 내가 보고 답변이 계속 싫어서 그때는 다
치유하는
다 이게 내가 지금 알아서 그야 아니 다 그런 거 좀지 근데 다 가서 답이 그러면 그런 거 알아서 다야 줘야 아니 드레스를送了
So this term meditative concentration, for practitioners, for meditators, there's another term that they often use for this to describe the same thing, which is calm abiding meditation, or shamatha in Sanskrit, which is synonymous with what we're calling meditative concentration. Calm abiding meditative concentration are the same thing. So for practitioners, or in the realm of meditators, we call samadhi or meditative concentration as the aspect of calm abiding, and then a training of transcendent wisdom, or sheda, is what we call direct insight, or vipassana. So Shantideva, author of Way of the Bodhisattva, spoke to this, saying that stable, or really like high quality calm abiding shamatha, endowed with direct insight, is what vanquishes all the enemies of the afflictive emotions, or negative emotions. So the means to completely vanquish all the afflictions within one's mind is stable, high quality, calm abiding, endowed with direct insight, vipassana. It's like, so this is like a bird flying. So for a bird to fly, it has to have 2 wings. So you have to have the 2 wings of calm abiding, meditative concentration, and the wisdom of direct insight, vipassana. If a bird has 1 wing, even if it's a really good, great wing, strong wing, it's not enough. It's not going to get anywhere. So in a similar sense, for us to completely be able to completely vanquish the enemies of the afflictions in our own mind, we need to have this unity of calm abiding and direct insight, vipassana, these 2 aspects. That's also what allows us to progress along the path to liberation. So for us, how to understand this connection between vipassana and calm abiding, or meditative concentration and wisdom, there are different analogies we can use to really understand this. Rinpoche says, sorry, I don't really understand your Western culture. I don't know what your modern day analogies, good example would be, but I have some great Tibetan ones that really work for me. So I'll keep going with those, he says. So a butter lamp, a Tibetan butter lamp, a little candle. No matter how clear the light of a lamp, a candle may be, if there's wind, then the clarity of that lamp is diminished. It won't be stable. It won't consistently clear away darkness. It'll be flickering all over, and it will die quickly. If you put a candle outside and there's a breeze, then it won't be stable. It'll flicker and it'll be extinguished. On the other hand, if there's no wind and you have that same candle, then it is clear, luminous, stable, and will be long-lasting and clearly illuminate everything. So that's similar to how we should understand calm abiding and direct insight or vipassana for our training in the path, where meaning that initially what we need in order to progress in whatever further phase of meditative practice we're training in, be it training and gaining the realization and understanding of emptiness or development stage practice, whatever the practice may be, initially you have to have a stable mind. The foundation of whatever your practice is first dealing with the mind and having a stable, calm mind, namely accomplishing this calm abiding aspect. So it's very important to initially have that calm abiding or meditative concentration for whatever practice we're engaging.
Well, 말하면서 그 기강 공시대 가르쳐드렸으나 맞아 가다가 봤다. 맞아 그 선대 예지경 뭐죠? 왜냐더니 말하면서 요와다 제가 예지경은 용해 예지경라 되니 뭐지 야 가르쳐 예지경은 야더니 문자와 야 거쳐한다고 야 보면 요와제 왜냐더니 말하면서 추이 발음다고 얘는 나한테 기침하자고 지내야 돼. 와서 생기다가 하다 보면 이것을 때
So for us, generally speaking, what is our habitual tendency of how our mind is? What's our habit of mind? So now our predominant habit, or the general predominant habit, is to have a mind that doesn't remain on one thing for even a single moment, really. A mind that is constantly endowed with the aspect of movement. A mind that every single moment, moment by moment, is changing, transforming, something different, something new. It doesn't remember everything, and then it recollects many things, literally, something like that. Where you don't remember what it was you were trying to do, but then all sorts of things are flooding into your mind that need to be done or are coming up in your mind. The mind remembers all sorts of fleeting things that come and go. Our mind generally is like waves rolling through the ocean or like clouds passing through the sky.
딱 말하면서 때나 그 상관하고 왜는 그 다다기지기 나 대지고래는 너 닝 디아블 참모 디아블 산이 디아블 때문에 나니 때문에 뭐는 따와니다 미세든 새로 가지고 도스키는 로데야다 나도 박차도 컴퓨터를 찾았어.
If we look at our own situation, check in with ourselves, is this how my life has been going? Is this really how it is? And every single moment, is it just a fleeting moment of thoughts flooding into the next? Is my mind just constantly waves in an ocean, going from one thought, one thing to the next? Is that how my life's been? We can ask ourselves, is that how today is? Yeah, today I woke up and my mind was just going through all sorts of things. Then the evening came and a similar sort of thing through the night. My mind's just all over the place. And how's it going to be tomorrow and the next day and the day after that? And how's it been in the past? Month after month like this, year after year like this, really lifetime after lifetime like this. Many, many lifetimes after many, many lifetimes just like this. So really we have firmly established this habitual tendency, this habit of having a fleeting mind, chasing after things, changing from one moment to the next.
뭐야? 다 들리지라? 다 대답을 지는 거는 그런 그 인권은 그냥 해대죠. 그리고 다 말하면서 배드치스를 말하면서 아니 누가 생가 누가 zuboka 생가 다 참아가 더날 깡을 동화를 듣는 발 마시바 내리 야지 가서 로야 같다고 타마파 로야 파야 네 써야라고 그러지 하나는 알아보죠. 그래라고 지금 찾아요.
When we think about it, wandering, spending our lifetime like this, the mind wandering all about, have we ever really been able to accomplish any great purpose, acting like this, chasing one thought to the next? Is it really capable of accomplishing anything of great meaning, of great value? And what has it really brought us instead of anything really deeply fulfilling, really just brings us difficulties. Physical difficulties, physical suffering, mental torment, and exhaustion. And we never really get anywhere with it. We just wander about with our minds, and exhausting our minds, exhausting our body, never really getting anywhere. Not only do we not get anywhere, but there's no respite anywhere. do we ever really get rest or reprieve?
나도 스테이트는 그냥 말하는 소리지. 나 있어도 같고. 나 가지고 있나요? 이 말하는 소리 생지. 나지. 다동고 라이라고 가야 통고요 말이야. 왜냐 다 말하는 소 출라지는 축하는 라이잖아. 축하는 라이게 담아 싸마 요아 매번 축하는 라이 때문에 다 지도와 이나야 다 말하는 소리 축하서 가서 발업되니 접선이 빡치려고 되니 그런 데들 빠지게 그런 라이라고 가야 도면 저랑에다 야는 요도 야는 보라 야나 깨쳐고 야나 드는 때도 참아 대동이 차동이고 쭉 그런 의미랑 인내입니다.
And still, up to this point, we've never really seen the nature of our mind. What really is our mind in its essence? With all this stirred up wandering around of our mind, we're not even like intimate with what the mind actually is. And the mind does have a nature. It has an intrinsic quality to it. But as long as our mind is all over the place, we're missing that. Just like with water. Water has natural qualities, a natural state, or a nature of water. Water left by itself is clear, clean, and calm, not moving. That's the nature of water, we can say. But when water and wind is stirring up water, and water, it's all stirred up, it's full of stuff, sediment, and it's stirred around, there's waves in the water, it's splashing into itself or things, it's making noise, it's stirred up, it's not clear, you can't see through it. None of that is the nature of water. It's just the temporary state of water when it's agitated and stirred up.
다 축구랑 인하지다 너희 하고 같이 해버려. 아니 축에 빼는 거랑 또다 마요 같이 와서 이렇게 찍이나. 내가 진짜 야야나. 이 받아서 마 이거 지금 야나. 니 맞아서 마 당원이 같이 주세도 배 당마 이게 나는 뽀충충이라고 지금 통해 내가 배치해서 동과 상대 야 맞아 자주 중요한 통으로 와 되는 게 당어 정 이쪽으로 하고 얘 나긴 얘는 말하는 쪽이 미스요 좀 맞으면 당 얘 나긴 말하는 쪽이 샘대야 얘는 다 가르쳐야 되네 다 마요와 방식이 야나 이 샘대로 이게 말하는 쪽이 아니 약tablaten sembiranite hapotu kuremato maso kipse ne masano tande ba oyama.
So if you want to see the nature of water, what water is in its natural state, then leave it alone. Don't stir up the water, don't agitate the water. Find a nice vessel to put water in, put it in there and leave it there, and then watch. And naturally whatever sediment contaminating factors there may be in the water will settle down to the bottom, and you'll see the they'll separate out naturally. You'll see the limpid quality, natural limpid quality of water separated out from its contaminating factors. Water naturally left like that becomes very clear automatically. You can have one little hair in the water and you'll be able to perfectly crystal clear see that tiny little hair in water that's just left alone, left to its own nature. So there's a saying, if you want to see the limpid nature of water, don't agitate it. So then in a similar sense, don't agitate the mind. Leave the mind in its natural state. Allow the mind to simply rest just as it is. If you do that, then automatically you'll begin to see the nature of mind, the very essence of mind. So if you want to gain understanding and realization of the nature of mind, how the mind actually is, then really it's contingent upon how you're resting, how you place oneself. It's not a matter of thinking about it. You can't think your way into gaining an experience of the nature of mind. So we need to rest our mind in a relaxed way, or rest our mind relaxedly. So in order for the mind to become relaxed, the body initially has to be relaxed. So for this to happen, also one's environment is very important. It's taught that in order to gain this calm, abiding, meditative concentration, you need to look for an environment of solitude. So we talk about different levels of solitude. So first we have the outer solitude, or external solitude, referring to the physical place that you're training to calm the mind, to gain meditative concentration. So you're to find a place that is free of lots of sounds, free of lots of literally problems, trouble, enemies, difficulties. A naturally peaceful environment. This is what we call the outer solitude. So you're to find a place, an environment that's free of the particular things that harm one's meditative concentration. So loud sounds, people, troublesome people, difficulties, problems, and so forth. A place that's away from all of that. And that can be your house. So if it is your house, then you have your house set up in a way that is peaceful, calm, and quiet, conducive to the mind becoming calm and quiet. So in the text teaching on how to accomplish meditative concentration, how to train in samadhi, meditative concentration, there are a number of different requisite causes and conditions that need to be gathered. The first of these is the gathering the proper place, the proper environment.
샘대야라는 게 너무 잘 이해하려가지고.
Moving on to our physical posture, we'll set up the body. So the body should be straight, held in some form of a straight posture. If you're slouching or lying down or leaning back, looking up, or slumped over like this, then different problems come to your accomplishing meditative concentration. If you're leaning back on something slumped over like this, then trying to meditate pretty quickly, you're going to be asleep. If you're slumped over too much, then likewise, pretty quickly, your body will just start hurting in different places. So it's important to have the body held straight yet relaxed. When the body is straight and relaxed, then automatically one's mind becomes clearer, more vivid. It's taught that when one's body is straight, the subtle channels within the body will become straight. And when the subtle channels in the body are straight, the subtle energies that flow through those channels will flow smoother, will not be so agitated, will not literally be troublesome. So when all of that happens, then automatically the mind becomes more relaxed. So this is a key point, a critical point for us to understand for the progressive meditation.
그냥 따뜻한 게 지금 남남주도 그냥 남남주도 우리나라 지금 검침에서 지금 따뜻하고 그냥 때문에 나서면 그냥 나서 따뜻하게 강대 이거 때문에 그렇게
So generally we talk about sitting in the 7-point posture of Haratana. But for most of us here, we don't have the habit of sitting like that all the time, so it might just be more trouble than it's useful. So to sit in a chair is fine, to sit whatever is comfortable for you is fine, as long as we have this key point of the body being straight.
못해요. 지금 그렇지. 그러면 된다고 지금 그러면 베이스, 베이스, 코어, 베이스. 이렇게 생각해봐. 생각해봐. 나한테 얘기하는 게 무슨 말 못해요. 근데 되는 근데 나 말하는 소리지. 오늘도 써요. 오늘도 같이 써야 돼. 내가 싫어요. 집다 그러면 어떻게 됐어요? 오늘도 써야 돼. 오늘 쓰도 없었다. 나도 집에서 얘네 소화다. 양은 집 마디아바다. 근데 집 도와. 네가 다 강한데 다 말하는 소리. 그러면 집 남도 콜레도 집. 내 나이에 다 집. 스나니까 마디아바다 집. 뭔가 사실 짱가지고 오라. 근데 손자 그냥 맞지마 오늘은 손자 아니 때나이게 되게 찍고라서 봐야 내가 두고 맞참 상상하고 참 다른 기마 눈을 지야 아니야 눈이 지 아차로 맞 콜로져라 그래서 이 섬제 해좀
So true, the body is to be relaxed. Set the body in a very relaxed state. And if you have a cushion, you can sit on a cushion. If you are on a cushion, then your rear end should be higher than your feet. That's a little higher. That's a key point. So we set up the body in this way, straight yet very relaxed, completely relaxed. And then we can prepare the breath and subtle energies. Same word in Tibetan for these two. So to do this, to prepare the breath or subtle energies, then we do what we call the expelling of the stale, subtle energy, expelling of the stale breath. So when we're doing this, we're perceiving that we're ridding our body, ridding ourself of all negativity, everything that is uncomfortable, ill at ease, sadness, negative thinking, whatever our particular neuroses, thought proliferations have been lately, we're expelling all of that, releasing all of that. So here, when we're preparing to meditate, we attend to both the external environment and the internal environment. So this practice of expelling the stale winds is cleaning the internal environment, cleansing the internal environment. So we can do 3 rounds of this, expelling the stale, subtle energies. And then at the end of this, we perceive that all sickness, illness, negativity, negative forces, negative spirits, negative karma and obscurations, whatever of that negativity we have, has been completely expelled and eliminated. And whatever previous habitual imprints in our mind stream, habitual patterns of thinking and so forth have completely dissolved away. So this is another key point. So the body is to never be held tense or forced into any posture. The body is relaxed but strong, stable, and straight. In the mind, we release any tension in the mind, anything we're holding on to with the mind. Whatever state of being ill at ease, something like that, whatever state of depression or lethargy or sadness or anger or resentment, whatever it is that's been in our mind that we're holding on to, the state of tension within our mind, we completely release. And we can see this happening when we're performing this expelling of the stale, subtle energies. Perceive that as we're blowing out, that the continuity of whatever tension in our mind and body is being cut and completely released and let go. And then by doing this, you will automatically arrive at a fresh, new state of mind. So we rest, just allow ourselves to rest in that new, fresh state of mind. And we rest there until some thoughts start bubbling up in our mind. And as soon as we notice the thoughts coming, that's the moment to engender bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, which is to set the proper motivation and intention for the practice we're to be engaging in. So we think then, as soon as we notice thoughts coming up, then we think, have the thought, may I bring about the happiness of sentient beings and alleviate the suffering of sentient beings. and this spiritual practice, this meditation practice that I'm about to engage in, may it be for that purpose. So namely, we have this thought, and we make this as a vow. We think, I vow to engage in this spiritual training for the sake of alleviating the suffering of beings and bringing about their well-being.
Ini ta ngaran jogo to ini yang ta ngajogo be ini tingwang ta samde ta jogo de semje ji baso ma so le tangbu kapso ini ta de de semde jungo yo lo semde seji to
We don't pull the imbi.
le ta pe no so nyamne tangbu kapso ini semde mi pa la seji de ba so Benata, you're Yana, you're Manoya Chet. Then you send the trendy zone jet. You're Yana Mason, Manatuma. Any me pick the Niching Manazo, Dabjula. Any ta ma Dejen. Any Della Manazo send ma, sending bench, Benata Manazo. Any Semjen Ravachina. Then Semjente, Yandala Juma Sonia put my Tape Taya Roach.
Simchen Ravachigina.
Then the language in the winner.
That.
O Kawakina Tayana, and Yanda Jul Somara.
That.
But there are dead, 10 Ravachina. Then that, Tango, Chip, Mato Telas, Dena, Mato Lapson, the George. There, then Maranzo, and the time Maranzo, Jigla, make the young. That's Hema, Senator Chick-Queen, Diandra. Then I get a young human, then it's quarter away. 10 minutes, then I'm so Arena Chick that in Jala Manguano. I'm good to Solomon, but the Tinange, in the Jala Chigla, the Damchi. Then you make the young, there are the same day, Yasa Chigla, Yajin. Nitella, I'm so pa, Dajan, oh, that two skin of me. That tell it in Semaje. Me but the Jebas and me jig. So that's same teaching in the second. Two skin in the day and tell a young data. That you same thing, bench in two skin and the Zeki was a